It really, truly is funny the amount of goofy stuff that happens every single offseason like clockwork. The things that gets us riled up and butting heads, having debates over the most silly things, to where when that time finally passes, I completely forget about it until the following offseason arrives. And it's like, oh yeah, we're doing this again. One of those dumb things being debating the meaning of the word voluntary, as in voluntary workouts. And Justin Jefferson is not in attendance for the Vikings voluntary workout program, which started yesterday, I believe. But tale as old as time. We're going to debate this again. Really, A side versus B side. A side, Jefferson. He's a player under contract. He's supposed to be a leader. Well, you should lead by example. One of the faces of this organization. He should be in the building just like everybody else. Versus the B side, which I've always been on. If you want this to be mandatory, then don't include the word voluntary. Simple as that. But to my surprise, and I could be wrong about this, let me know in the comments section. To my surprise, I have not seen outrage or what I would categorize as fake outrage directed towards the absence of Jefferson. The only thing I've seen is just the reporting. Hey, he's not here at voluntary workout programs. Nothing further than that, which is good because it's not a big deal at all. It does, I believe, serve as a reminder that this offseason, at least in the 24 years that I've been following this team, this is the biggest offseason for this team, not just because you're trying to figure out what to do at the quarterback position, but also you need to find a resolution to the Justin Jefferson contract situation. You don't want this looming over your head. He deserves to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. And we can have that debate if we want to, as far as $30 million, $32 million per year for a wide receiver is absolutely ridiculous. You're not going to win a championship paying a receiver that sort of money. However, until you find that generational quarterback, remember the Kansas City Chiefs, they got rid of Tyreek Hill because they couldn't afford to pay him because they had to pay Patrick Mahomes. So they're like, all right, we're going to, as much as this sucks, he did help us win our first championship. We can't continue to ride this wave. But that doesn't mean that Tyreek Hill doesn't have value to be paid a bleak ton of money, even market resetting money, because Tyreek Hill helped the Miami Dolphins get into the playoffs. In fact, going up against his former team, the Kansas City Chiefs, in that, goodness, what was that? A 2-degree weather playoff game at Arrowhead? I couldn't remember. Tyreek Hill scored a touchdown. The rest of the Dolphins, they failed to show up. Until you can find that generational quarterback where you are going to have to pay all that money, it allows you to get a guy on the cheap on a rookie deal, or in the case of Sam Darnold, a 1-year, $10 million deal, while you pay all that money that you would pay to a generational quarterback, you would pay it somewhere else. This needs to get taken care of. Now, Adam Schefter did reveal not that long ago that last offseason, Jefferson and his camp turned down an offer worth $30 million per year. But that was it. It was a blanket statement. Didn't specify the guarantees, because that's really what matters in the NFL when it comes to these contracts. It's over here is the distracting part, right? Oh, this player just signed for a $5 trillion contract and it's all over social media. Oh my God, that averages to whatever amount per year. And then there's on this side, the fine print, actually, you only are guaranteed this amount of money. That's what I'm hoping was the delay last year, the guarantees. If it's anything more than that, as far as I want to make sure we have a stud quarterback, it could be a little bit more difficult, but I can't say this enough, man. Justin Jefferson, I am just thoroughly impressed. I am in awe of the maturity that he has displayed. This man is 24 years old. And every single time he's been asked, he's not on social media talking smack or sending subtweets like Stephon Diggs. He's not showing an attitude. This is the most calm, mature. He's handling this like he's a veteran, like he's in his 30s. I remember when I was 20. You remember when you were 24 years old? I certainly do. I was a mess. I was a jackass. Some people will say I'm still a jackass. But imagine being 24 years old, immature, and then having the opportunity to make $100 million in guaranteed money. Oh, you couldn't tell me nothing. Yeah, I'm his support system that he has, everything about this young man. Not only is he a great player, a superstar player, this is a well-mature young man. Crazy. Going back to the quarterback situation, maybe it is going to be Sam Darnold. That to me is the best worst case scenario, because if you're unable to trade up, the first three teams, they want to go QB and your guy's already gone. You don't want to settle, especially with these desperate teams out here, such as Denver or the Giants. They may shoot for the moon to trade up ahead of you. They may essentially price you out of the quarterback market. That's a possibility. On one hand, Sam Darnold, it could be very bad, 5-12 type of season. Or what if he were to have a Geno Smith-like resurrection to his career? The supporting cast that he has with the bookend tackles, with Aaron Jones at running back, certainly an upgrade compared to Alexander Mattison last year. Your two receivers, Addison and Jefferson, I mean, you should be set. This will be, besides San Francisco, but he didn't have to play in San Francisco, this will be the best possible situation for Sam Darnold in his career in terms of him actually being the starter. This is the best supporting cast that he is going to have. Talked about the offense, but also with a Brian Flores-led defense. To where, all right, if you get priced out and you got to use your picks 11 and 23, say edge, defensive tackle, whatever it is, as long as you are improving the roster, do what you can with what you have. As long as you are improving the roster, I'm good with it. And as I've mentioned before, that the Vikings, you got to really put in work to mess this draft up. Peter Schrager highlighted exactly what that hard work would be. He, in his mock draft, has the Vikings using pick 23 because the first four quarterbacks are gone, McCarthy included, going Bo Nix with the 23rd pick in this draft. And let me tell you something, folks. If that were to happen, that would be my villain origin story. I have no problems admitting that I am the proud leader of the Bo Nix Hater Central Club. Here we are. Take your shot. This hypothetical scenario, this would be an absolute travesty. First off, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah and KOC, if they were to do this, they should be fired on the spot. And we've already allowed the JJ McCarthy fan club and the Michael Penix Jr. fan club to bully their way into first round projections. Enough. We're done now. This is full stop. Bo Nix at 23, bro. Bo Nix, anybody that's ever, if you look beyond the damn stat, you look at the box scores and you look at his stat sheets, you're like, oh man, this guy, man, he does a really good job throwing touchdowns and he doesn't turn the ball over. If you actually watched him play at Oregon, all he does is throw check down passes, plays designed to get rid of the ball quickly to where the receivers are catching the ball at the line of scrimmage. If yards after the catch did not exist, let's say football, you throw the pass and once the ball is caught, the play is dead. That's it. They caught it right there. We're going to mark it at that yard line. If yards after the catch did not exist, Bo Nix would be undrafted. And even with yards after the catch, this man is at best a fourth round pick to take a flyer on. You want to take him at pick 23? And look at this fluff piece of Bleacher Report. They did an article. Who did this article? Scott Polasek. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. But look at this fluff piece that tells you exactly who Bo Nix is, reacting to Peter Schrager's mock draft. While he doesn't have the same ceiling as Williams or the other top names, the 2023 Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year completed a stunning 77.4% of his passes. Yeah, because he's Zach Edey at Purdue in the paint. Just dump the ball off to him and he'll tap it into the basket. He also had 45 touchdown throws to just 3 interceptions. That ability to avoid key mistakes and take advantage of open looks underneath, of course, it's underneath passes, at an incredibly efficient rate works perfectly in an offense that thrives on getting the ball into playmakers' hands and letting them go to work. He takes advantage of open looks underneath at an incredibly efficient rate. Well, bro, I can hit 99% of my layup attempts. Should I get drafted in the first round to who's going to have the first pick? Presumably the Detroit Pistons? Yeah, they could use some help. But Bo Nix, you want to reach for a quarterback like that at pick 23, it's like, bro, then you're doing it for the sake of taking a quarterback. I think he's the worst quarterback in this draft class. I would literally take anybody, a former quarterback that's now a punter at Toledo. I would take him to be the quarterback over Bo Nix. And I saw Kevin Seifert. He reacted to Schrager's mock draft as well, with the Vikings taking Bo Nix at 23. He said, and if you think there is a 0% chance of this happening, you haven't listened to Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah at all this spring. I'm not saying it's the likely scenario, but they've absolutely mapped it out. I want that map. Wherever that big board is for the Vikings that has the name of Bo Nix on it, I want it so we can properly destroy it. This should not be in the cards at all. As I've said before, you got to really work hard to mess this up. The Vikings have so many different options to improve this roster, whether they can get a quarterback or not. Obviously, you want to get a quarterback, but if they can't, they're not down in the dumps just yet. Sam Darnold could be good. You never know. Or if you take a quarterback at the right value, don't reach, especially for a guy like Kwesi, an analytical guy who preaches value. Taking Bo Nix at 23, that would be the worst thing you could possibly do.